very special show today. We're going to be speaking to our wonderful guest about the confirmation she asked her mum. Oh, I'm going to be teary. It's my dad's birthday today. Oh. So we're going to be speaking to Shannon about how she asked her mum for confirmation right before she made her crossing that she was safe and well and close by, and how that confirmation has come through so much bigger than she could ever have dreamed. And, you know, we've got such a lot to share with you today, so get yourself comfy, tune in to us, join us on the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page where you can add all your comments and we can see them on the show. And we'd also like to remind you that we don't broadcast these shows to tell you what to do or how to live your life, right? You're amazing, you're wise, you're wonderful. So our programs aren't to be used to replace your legal or medical advice, nor your own sound judgment. So tap into your own heart and let's take this beautiful dive into this gorgeous opportunity with our wonderful guest, Carol Anne. I'm so thrilled to be here with you today.
Yes, and I'm excited to be here with you, Anayah, and with our amazing guest, Shannon. And this is a special show for all of us because we have all experienced this and we all have these beautiful stories. So it's wonderful to hear Shannon's story today.
Mm-hmm. Shannon Swerdan, you have written a wonderful book, Love's Message in a Dime, and we are so blessed to be able to share you. So welcome to Angel Heart Radio, Shannon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity to share this story. Having never planned on actually writing a book, it was like, oh my, I just want to tell the whole world. Just from the bottom of my heart, it's just, yeah, something that truly has come into my life, and I just can't wait to share it with everybody. And actually, my journey began in 2013 when my daughter's boyfriend's aunt had passed away. And something very unique about this lady is wherever she would go, she would find a dime. So after she passed, my daughter started to find dimes. Like they were just showing up all over the place. She said, gosh, could she be leaving them, Mom? And I said, Mel, I have no idea. I've never heard of this before. So in 2015, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she was only given 6 months to a year to live. So our whole family was absolutely devastated. So I just decided to ask her. I said, Mom, could you leave me dimes when you cross over? Could you just leave me dimes to leave me a message that you're close by and watching over us? And Mom passed away March 28th, 2016. And these dimes started to show up like, oh my gosh, all over the place. I would get into my vehicle. There'd be one by my feet. There'd be one sitting in the passenger side seat. There'd be one in a bed frame, one in a comforter, one in my washing machine, one in my dryer. They just were all over the place. It was like, could she be leaving them? I don't know. Could she really? Like it was unbelievable. And then what happened was I'd found 12 packages of cream cheese in my dad's fridge after my mom passed. Now, this cream cheese was slightly past the best before date. And my mom was not a wasteful person. So I decided to ask her. I said, okay, Mom, if I'm supposed to use that cream cheese, could you leave me a dime? Well, honestly, I asked her at 11 o'clock in the morning. By 5 o'clock that night, I had my answer, because attached to my magnetic clasp inside my purse was my dime. Like, honestly, if you would take and try to throw a dime and make it attached to that clasp, it was impossible. Yeah. That dime was attached right there. So I would go around and I would share my story with people. I'd show them the clasp attached on my phone. I'd show them the phone and they would want to hug me. They'd want to grasp my hands. They were just so thankful that I shared. But what I found was, as I shared my story, other people started to find dimes. It was like they were listening to us. People would tell me that they would find dimes places. Somebody told me they found a dime in a shower. Like, there was just constantly they kept telling me. And that's when a lot of friends and family started, okay, Shannon, you can't just tell one person at a time, maybe get this on paper. And that's truly how this book, Love's Message in a Dime, came to life. It was just like a synchronicity of events. It was like, I've got to, and every time one would show up, I would write it down. We would smile, we'd laugh, and then we said, oh my gosh, could it really be? And we were just so comforted thinking that she is here, you know. It just yeah, I can't tell you what this has done to our whole family. Like, it's just not myself, like it happened to several of our other family members as well. And just knowing that she's okay and that we'll all be okay, it's just, yeah, I just want to shout it from the rafters.
Yeah. It's such a special message, isn't it, to be shared with everybody, and to let everybody know that it is real, it is true, and you know, it's just coming from your heart, and you're able to share such a special message with everybody you talk to and everybody who buys the book.
Exactly. Like, honest, like at Mom's Celebration of Life, we had actually given out lily bulbs so that everybody could, you know, have, when the lily grew, they could think of my mom, right? So a couple that had attended the ceremony had sent me a picture of the beautiful lily that's growing. And then I ran into him again and he said, well, didn't you see the dime? And I said, what do you mean? He said, I sent you a picture. It was the lily. There was a dime in front of the lily. I was like, oh my gosh, I did not know that. But I have found there has been several people that have found dimes in gardens. As they're working in the garden, there's a dime. Like, yeah, it's not new. It's been around for a long time. If you actually search the internet, you'll see thousands of stories that it's
but
not
you know,
new.
the thing is at the moment, Shannon, that this is the time for your story to come out, because it's rippling out to so many people throughout the world, and it's being shared, and it's giving people just a bit of comfort and reassurance. And sometimes, especially in difficult times, that's what everybody needs.
Yeah, like it just touches my heart so much when people reach out to me. And in fact, just recently a lady had posted, her girlfriend had just lost her daughter in a tragic accident, and she said she cannot believe all the dimes they're finding. But she had never heard of this before, right? So many people are having this experience and not aware of it. I'd even talked to a young lady and her mom. And I said to the young lady, I said, do you ever find dimes? And she looked at me and she says, oh my gosh. She says, I find dimes. Me and my mom find dimes all the time. And I said, have you lost somebody close to you? And she said, she said, I lost my husband maybe 3 years ago. Well, I goosebumped from the bottom of my feet right to the tip of my head. It's like, oh my gosh, he could be leaving them for you. And she's bawling and her mom's bawling. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's just so touching, right?
Oh,
touching.
Wonderful. So beautiful. And I want to welcome our wonderful friends in the comment section on the Angel Heart Radio page live stream. We have Tibeth with us, and Gabby with us, and Annette with us, and it's gorgeous to see you all here. And it's really interesting, isn't it? Gabby, I'd like to hear from you on this, but I know Annette, myself, Tibeth, Carol Anne, we all have at least one parent who has made their crossing. And Dell's with us. Welcome, Dell. So coming together like this, it's a beautiful way and opportunity to be present with each other, because each person's journey through grief is so particular to them, isn't it, Shannon?
Oh my gosh, yeah, 100%. So. Yeah, death is one of the biggest fears today, right? And just to offer a little bit of comfort, just knowing that there is something more, right?
Yeah.
Yes, nothing to be fearful of. And you know, that I was talking to Anayah before we started the show, and I had on page, what's the page number? Sorry, I've got to put it into the lot. On page 19, you sort of give an affirmation about the truth about the afterlife. And I just thought that was really beautiful, especially, do you want to read that little part, or would you like me to read the part
No,
that...
go ahead. Go ahead. Sure.
Okay, the part that I thought was wonderful was, faith has no preconceptions. It is a plunge into the unknown. Belief clings, but faith lets go.
Yeah.
And I thought, how beautiful is that? And it really is. It's all about faith. Yes, we have the belief, but it's the faith that we know that they are fine, that we can communicate with them, and we can allow ourselves to know that they are there with us. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says.
No.
It's what we feel within our hearts. And this is what I feel about my mum especially.
Yeah.
And I know she's with me. And my daughter, who passed when she was 6, and I know she is with me as well. So, you know, it's to have that reassurance, the faith and the belief and the love is so important for all of us.
Yeah, that's so true.
I want to share with you something beautiful that's happening in the comments section. We have, I just love this. Gabby has shared that her dad has made his crossing and he was her hero, which is a beautiful thing. And then Annette has shared that I have just gone outside and a rose was lying on the lawn. It had been picked, but not by me. And she senses it was her late husband saying, well done, I am here with you. That is just
my God.
so gorgeous. These,
I know.
Isn't it? When we are open to this, when we are open to these signs and signals, suddenly our whole world begins to change. And the grief that we feel, and sometimes that grief lasts a really, really long time, right? But that grief that we feel is not the only thing that we're connecting to. Whereas when grief's very new, it's very difficult. I found it very difficult to step outside of that, like at all, any minute of the day. So, and Gabby's got goosebumps. Yes. Now Gabby's dad had prostate cancer and dementia, and it was a blessing for him in the end. So there's a lot of story and meaning and power behind sharing something like this, Shannon. So you coming forward, having never, ever intended to write a book, look how you're bringing people together all around the world.
Yeah, that's just it. And like I said, other people are having the same experiences. So it's just that, yeah, like I said, they're just not talking about it because they aren't comfortable yet. Right. But hopefully that more people, as people begin to know that it's not just yourself that's having these experiences, there are other people. And yeah, it's awesome. Like, actually, I just have to share one. A lady had just posted that she was giving, she was going to get some meds to give to her dog, and she stuck her knife into the peanut butter, and there was a dime in her peanut butter. Like, what's the chances? We have got some very creative angels. Absolutely. Like, it's just...
And the message is clear, isn't it? That while we feel separated, there actually is no separation. And it's that divide, isn't it, between our earthly perception and the truth of our connection.
Yeah.
It's that is being diminished, and the veil really is becoming more and more transparent. And the love that we feel is creating bigger and deeper and wider bridges all the time between us and our loved ones. You know, it's incredible, Shannon.
Yeah, you're right. I think that it's lighter. Like, it's just that there is a lot more. I agree 100% with you, for sure. Yeah. And actually, I was to a book signing last year, and a lady was given a book that her daughter's been missing for 10 years. They have no idea what happened to her. And when she opened the book, there was a dime inside of her book. Like, it was like, Those books, I know they came out of an absolutely sealed box that morning. Every 5 books are wrapped in plastic. Like there just is no other explanation. Like life is everlasting. There's just
Yeah.
no other. Yeah, for
And
sure.
Tibet's just posted something, and she said, I lost my dad 40 years ago and my mum 20 years ago. Sometimes you think they may not see or know what's going on for you. I haven't felt my mother for so many years until I felt and heard her say something to me just recently. It was
Aw.
so lovely. And this just reminds us that we have time here, but there's no time there. And
Right.
so we can't relate our human time to spirit time. And so I think, that this is just a wonderful example of that. So, that's wonderful that you'd heard that from your mum. That's beautiful.
And there's so many other signs, right? I know that some people see butterflies, right? Butterflies or dragonflies, there's cardinals, there's just feathers are huge as well, right? So not everybody may see the same signs. For me, my mom and dad spent 26 years in the US. They would go for the winter. So my mom leaves me American dimes in Canada so that I just can't second guess it. Like it's just, Shannon, it's me. It's absolutely me. Like there's just no doubt about it. And
Yeah.
having never thought of writing a single book, because actually the biggest stories aren't even in the first book. And so the next book will be released next year. And I am so excited about sharing that story because there's a story in it that's the reason that I actually put the word undeniable on my back cover of book number 1, because of that story that was just, without a doubt, undeniable. And I'm so excited for that next book to come out for sure.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you have any idea yet when that's likely to be available?
There's reasons that sometimes things are a little delayed, and I'm thinking and I honestly don't think it's going to be spring, but possibly by the summer.
Yeah.
Like it's very close. I've already, like I said, I've got the ending. Everything is all in its place. It's just that there are a couple extra stories that I'm wanting to have in there of other people's stories that they can share, and that it's not just totally mine. But the book is basically just a timeline of actually all the events that occurred after her passing. It wasn't, exactly in order of how they occurred. And that's really what Love's Message in a Dime is. And I actually have the name for my second book. My second book's name will be Heaven's Message, Dime and Dime Again.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. That's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's just, then they know that Love's Message is like definitely Love's message, because it's a message of love from my mom in the dime. But for somebody that's just picking up the book, they could think that it's a romance book or who knows what, right? So that's why I thought, you know what, I'm going to go with Heaven's Message. Yeah. And then they'll know that that's definitely from somebody that's passed.
Yeah, that's great. Great. So my daughter how I came to know that, because she was only 6, and so many years had passed, and I used to lie in bed at night and I would be freezing cold. My bones would be like ice, even in the middle of a heat wave. And then one night I just had the message to ask if it was her, and it was. And from then on, for a while then, every time she visited, it was like ice. And I said to her in the end, you have to give me a different way of knowing you're there, because I cannot have icy bones all the time. So now she presses on my collarbone and I know that she's there. But I do also know when her energy is there. So, we have many ways of knowing that our loved ones are here with us all the time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And look, we've got some incredible sharing happening right now in the comments section on this live stream. We have Dell with us, who says, my beloved mom left this earth in 1967, and she told me before I passed that if I see a butterfly, that means she is visiting me. And then we have Gabby saying, I had a young girl, Amber. She was pretty much my adopted daughter. She stood on a fallen power line accidentally and transitioned. And a while after, I was upset and sitting on my front steps so that my children wouldn't see me sobbing. My whole front yard filled with a swarm of dragonflies for about 5 minutes, and then they left. Oh, goosebumps.
Oh
I
my
always
God.
know she's near now when I see a dragonfly. And this is the thing. It's we don't just get the messages in one way. We will get the messages in a way for you with the dime. You asked your mum specifically. God love her. She came through in such magnificent ways. For me, I will find feathers tucked in the pots in the garden. Mum would stand out there and just look at those flowers. And she would just so quietly, she loved them and just drink them all in. And sometimes in amongst something, there'll be this little bit of white. What is that? And it's this tiny little white feather,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
So, how are you guys listening to this? You might be listening to the podcast later on. But if you're watching the live stream now or later, we'd love to know how your loved ones connect with you and you connect with them.
Yeah.
This is a way of sharing so much comfort and so much peace and hope, so that that very lonely, long journey through grief is not as heavy.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to say about this, and it's really important, I feel, is that your journey is going to take you on your own journey. You can't do it like anyone else has done it. You have to really just love yourself enough as much as you can, and please don't isolate yourself. I tend to isolate myself when I'm really hurting, and that might be a surprise to other people. I just go in my cave and I don't reach out. And it makes it harder and lonelier, but I don't realize at the time. So if you notice that you're sort of going down that path, please reach out to someone trusted or to us.
Yeah.
We are always here for you. This is why Angel Heart Radio exists. Not everybody has earthly companions they can reach out to. Just to have that bit of support to say it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah,
Your
exactly.
journey is important, and you will get through it. No matter
I
how much you feel like you won't, you will get through it.
Yeah.
And you are fully supported by your loved ones.
Exactly. It's like an onion. I say like grieving is kind of like an onion. It peels in layers, right? And those layers, as those layers come, some people will peel it faster and be able to move on, whereas others may peel it slow, right? And they just need that extra time before they can step forward. And that was such a wonderful message that you just passed on, Anayah.
Yeah.
Thank you
so much. Thank you so much.
So Shannon, do you want to share with everybody? I made a little note. You had it under family bonds. It was a sleepover, then the farm road trip, and then the stained glass memory. Do you want to just share with everyone what that was about? Was your first request?
Oh, that was what? There's just been so many times in my world that I really have to think about this one.
But I think it must have been your first request that you wanted your mum to show you something. I just made some notes when I was looking at the book.
Yeah, I think the first request was the attached to the dime that was attached to my clasp.
Oh, okay.
All right. Stained glass memory, I think, was of my girlfriend's sister that had passed. And she did beautiful, her daughter did the absolute most beautiful stained glass butterflies that she handed out at everybody for the celebration. And it was just, it was so picture perfect. And I had added that one to my Christmas tree that year because I had a butterfly for my mom. And then actually my sister-in-law had passed away. So I had a butterfly in my tree for her. And then I added that stained glass one in memory of my girlfriend's sister that had passed away. So that was the loving stained glass memory.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's lovely to have those little individual ones, and you can look at each one of them and okay, that relates to there, and this is for that person.
Yeah,
and have each individual one as something special.
yeah. My girlfriend actually found a dime in her toaster oven. You know, the toaster ovens, you've got the little metal tray that goes inside. She was going to make toast, and there was one in her toaster oven.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful chapter in the book written by your daughter.
Yes.
Oh gosh, she's
I
just
know.
she's a
So
lovely, she is a
talented.
lovely writer, isn't she? And she has a gorgeous way of really conveying her message across very beautifully.
And she still gets dimes so many. Like I said, she is the one that started this whole journey. And she gets so many. And actually, I mean, as a family, we know this, but she asked my mom to leave her nickels so that she could decipher the dimes that she was getting previous from my mom. I said, you know what? It's going to be hard enough for people to grasp finding dimes, let alone putting the nickels in there, Melanie. But yeah, truly. And I'll just share one of the dimes that she found. So, you know, when you take two socks and you fold them together, well, there was a dime tucked inside of that sock. Like, honest, there's mounds of dimes that she's found, and she still continues to find for sure. Yeah, there absolutely is. I see triple numbers all the time as well. And I also see the 3-3. So I'm so excited about Anayah's book that's going to be coming out. It's wonderful to let the world know about all these triple numbers and their meanings. And in fact, just today, got into my garage and I'm coming into the house and I look at my phone and it's 555 and it's like, hello angels, like, thank you so much, right? And then I see like 33 shares on my Facebook page. Like, I've always see threes are in my life all the time. Like, it's just constant. And it's just so nice to know that the angels are there and the meanings, you know, that they're for us. If I don't see 1 through 3, I see 5 through 3, 10 through 3. I every hour, almost on the hour. Like, I'll just touch my phone and it'll be 9 through 3. It'll be 7 through 3, and it's like 3. I know I'm on the right path. I'm following exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's just, I don't know. It's just so uplifting, you know.
It is, and it takes that energy to a whole new level. And I would like to show a photo of Melanie, if that's all right, from your book.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I love
this is page 23. So you know, she's gorgeous. Just look at her. It's Melanie and and the website listed here is Birdie, BIRDIE, break.com.
Yeah.
So let's just see. Now I'm just waiting for the camera to come back to me so I can see if I'm showing because we've got a time delay before I can see it. Can you see the picture clearly?
Yeah, just a little.
You probably just need to hold it down a little tiny bit.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect. That's excellent.
That's it? Yeah. So this is Melanie. And, you know, again, Love's Message in a Dime. How can people buy your book?
Actually, you can go to my website, www.lovesmessageinaDime.com, or it's available through all the distribution channels. There's many channels that are out there.
Fabulous, because it's very easy to read. So if you're in grief, you will find this book so easy to read. It's elegantly written in it doesn't it's not, I didn't find it at all. Sometimes when you're in grief, it's easy to get overwhelmed with a lot of printed material. This was wonderful, and I just really enjoyed it. You know, I felt I love the size of the font, right?
Yeah.
So that meant it was easy to read. And there was lots of photos throughout of the dimes that you'd found and the places that you found them, which I thought was fantastic as well, because it was a real sense of place, of being there, right?
Yeah.
So that was great as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, yeah, I've got a bunch of that is going to go in the next book as well. So just getting those all together so that they actually have the actual exactly the way it is. And then you decide. I'm just leaving it up to you. But in my heart, I just believe that she is right here. There's just no doubt, not a doubt in my mind. And, you know, I just feel, yeah, I'm so comforted that I'm okay and that everybody else is going to be okay when we cross over, right?
Yeah.
And I know that it allows me now to live my life so fully, knowing that I don't have to worry about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of
Yeah,
it for sure.
that's really wonderful. And you know, there was a line, because I haven't got a copy of your
I'm
book.
sorry.
I looked through it and I had some pages I did, and it was like, I liked the line that you said, it is a story that never ends. And I think that that's really important for everybody to know, that the story continues, and it just continues for many lifetimes, and it's just such a blessing to know that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to just get it out there. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys so much for allowing me this opportunity to share my story on this network. And there's just such a loving environment, and it just you touch so many lives, and that's exactly what I love to do too.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's what it's about for all of us, I know. And when we had the opportunity to read your book and speak to you, and then have, you know, about coming on Angel Heart Radio, we were both really just felt very blessed and excited about that, because, you know, it's such a personal journey, as we've said before. And now look, we've got our lovely Dell has made a comment. My beautiful favorite cousin passed away 2 weeks ago, and I knew she was telling me something when I saw a couple of feathers whilst walking in the park the next day after she passed. It's going up. So let me just go back to find that comment. Yes, triple numbers. Thank you very much, dear sweet angels. And we have Gabby. She's been seeing triple numbers for over a week. It started, yes, it started with 111, went up in order to 555, and now it's bouncing around. This is what's so cool about it, isn't it? Because we're all going to receive in our own way. Annette says, have a go. You're right, Annette. We know about that, don't we, love? Thank you all so much. And she delights in the fact that knowing our loved ones are around us, and it is so comforting. And that's a message that we can never underestimate.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
It changes. There's a fundamental shift, I find. And I'd like to hear from you, Carol Anne. I found there was a fundamental shift in my grieving period, even though I knew, because Dad went first and then 9 weeks later, Mum went. Even though I knew they were okay, I was so devastated. I was just so shocked. And then, even though I knew they were okay, that wasn't the point. I wasn't okay. And coming together like we do to share these stories, Shannon, it helps to create that fundamental shift to help us move forward at our own pace.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it definitely does. It was like with my mum. She'd been very sick, and for the last 3 months of her life, I'd spent a lot of time with her at the hospital in another state where I live. And because she was very much into the spirit work as well, she and I had laughed and joked, and, well, that's okay. We'll be able to see one another once you've made your transition, Mum, and all of those things. And that was true. You know, I knew she was all right, and I knew where she was, and she was fine and everything. But then the shock for me was about 2 weeks later, even though I knew Mum was fine, there was something not right within me. And that was when I realised that I needed my human body to have a grieving process. My spirit self knew Mum was fine and she wasn't in pain anymore and that she was okay. But my physical human body had to have a grieving process. And once I recognized that and I was able to go through that, then that was fine. And you know, and it was like now and again I think, oh, something happens, I must go and ring Mum up and tell Mum that. Oh, no, I just have to think it. And she already knows it anyway because she's here with me. So, you know, it's all little stages that we go through, and grieving is such a personal thing. And that's what we also need to recognise, that we all need to grieve in our own way. And there's no right, there's no wrong, but it's coming from the heart and it's being there for everybody else as well as for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful. Yeah, 100%.
I can see Anayah's busy typing a message.
I was answering. I didn't realise you could see me already.
Yes, I could. All right, well, I'll say something then
So
if you like.
let's talk again about your website, because we want people to have the opportunity to buy your book. So it's lovesmessageandadime.com.
Yeah. Lovesmessageandadime.com. Yeah.
Yep, and that'll shoot you
It's
out.
all one word.
Yep, and we will make sure that link is up on this show for you in the description of the show. So that's really fantastic. So you can click and go to bring forward hope and possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't think of a more gracious energy, loving energy to bring to people who are hurting, Shannon. And this is what you're doing. This is what you are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And in return, it touches my heart, because just seeing other people, want to hug me and be touched by it just makes my heart sing bigly, like it's hugely. Yeah. Yep.
And
this is one at a time. Like,
yeah. This is such a special thing that you're able to share. And you know, I think that when we're able to share from our heart and help everybody else, and to me that's just one of the main things, is about, you know, what is the reason for all of this? And then you think the reason is that I can bring comfort and love and support to other people who are grieving. And so, you know, it's such a wonderful thing. And you're able to do it with your mum and your daughter and your family. And it's a whole of your family thing. And I think it's not a very good word, but, you know, just sort of that moment. But, you know, what I'm trying to say is it's such a thing that's coming from your heart, but it's something that you can bring your mum into. And I think that's one of the wonderful things, that by sharing this message, it's sharing the love you had for your mum, and your mum is there with you sharing it at the same time. It's a whole of family sharing, so to speak.
I do believe, though, that I think that they do play with our electricity as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They're around. You know, I just want to share this because this is what's happened to my dad. My dad is a gas fireplace, and he's had the company out there, and they said that the fireplace cannot turn on by itself. Like, it needs a remote control to flip on. Well, he gets up at 2 a.m. and the fireplace is on. So he sits and he has a chat with her. And so then he's found that the remote control isn't actually in the right place either. Like, he always puts the remote control on the mantle, and he has found the remote control other places in the house. So it's like, Dad, are you sure you put it on the mantle? But no, and then he's decided he's hid it. He actually hid the remote control. And he said she doesn't need it. The fireplace goes on without him. But the interesting thing is that his tenant that lives there, she looks after the place when he comes down south. And not once is that fireplace on the whole time that he is away. The minute he comes back, no word of a lie, they're sitting there and the fireplace turns on. Yeah. So she's just still around. And I've heard people say that their lights have gone dim and stuff too. So there's other ways that they can let us know that they're around.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. And it's about spending time with one another. You know, just because they're in spirit world doesn't mean they don't want to spend time with us and be in our life for everything that's happening within our lives.
Yeah, we can talk to them anytime, right?
Yeah.
They're just right here.
And it's trusting that afterlife communication. I think that's a really important thing, that we come into that trust, because there'll be a lot of people that, you know, will kind of smile and say,
Yeah,
whatever. They don't understand or believe. Maybe they're not comfortable with it. And that's fine, because we're all on our own individual journeys. But it's to trust your afterlife communication.
Yeah.
This is just such an important part of it. And then it expands the level of trust that we have as well, doesn't it?
Oh.
And trust is such a major factor for living a life that has peace and comfort in it.
Totally. Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Beautiful. I love it. So having this opportunity that you've got now, having written this book and a new book coming out next year sometime, you've put a lot of faith and a lot of trust, and you've taken action steps to do that. And we would definitely want to talk to you about the new book when it comes out.
That's right.
How has that expanded your ability to have faith and trust in your own life and your decisions and your abilities, Shannon?
Well, actually, this happened this spring. I was casted to act and sing on stage, which I have never acted before. And I have sang in church choirs before, but never that much. And I actually had the microphone and I was singing solo. And I think God was preparing me to get on stage and share this story. I really, truly do. That because how I did that, could never have envisioned standing up and doing this in front of, close to 1,000 people. And it was just like I was comfortable up there, completely comfortable. So it has definitely made my confidence increase tremendously.
Yeah.
Because I'm, like I said, total strangers. I can walk up to total strangers and ask them if they'd like to hear a story, and be very comfortable with doing that.
Yeah.
So I just hope that I will get a chance to share my story on the main stage someday. Yeah, for sure. I have a huge goal, but we'll let the angels decide whether that's going to happen or not. But
look, this is it. You're finding your true passion in life, and you're trusting where it is leading you.
Yeah.
And that's such an important thing. And knowing that you're being supported so much from the spirit realm, from the other side, whatever terminology you want to use, it just takes away some of those reservations, because, it's like, that's okay, I can do this, there's nothing to worry about. And it's like a whole new you has stepped into you. And
Exactly.
it's just amazing how that happens.
Yep. When you have the support of your angels beside you, there is nothing that you can't do.
No, that's right.
And the restrictions that we feel might be in place in our lives, this is what I found anyway, and I'm finding it all the time, because it's not like I never have moments or days where I don't have any confidence. Like Carol Anne can attest to that. Carol Anne! Right? So, but it's great to know that it's a process, and the angels they've said this to me so many times. Process is. It just is. And as we go, I'm getting goosebumps. Thank you, darlings. As we go through these processes of our lives, and some of them are so uncomfortable, as we know. Yet once we go through them, wow, it's like we extend our wings further and further, wider and wider, and we fly higher and higher. And it's not to say we're not scared of heights, because we are. And that's okay as well. But we have the faith and the trust to know that we're not going to plunge to the earth, crash and burn. And, you know, we've got this great sharing from in one of the comments that she had a funny experience with her mum just after she passed. She and her sons had to travel by plane to get to her. My sons were going back on the plane ahead of me, and we were waiting at the airport with my sister when one of the boys expressed concern for the plane being late. I opened my mouth to say, it's okay. But what came out is exactly what my mum would have said. I even sounded like her. My sister, who was pretty conservative, looked at me in shock. She was there looking after us.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
sweet. So
Beautiful.
sweet.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I know that my husband's always saying to me, I'll say something to him and now and again, and he'll just look at me and say, yes, Jackie, that was my mum. Yes, Jackie.
Oh.
You look like your mother then.
And you know, the funny thing is, it's amazing. I don't know whether you guys have had an experience of this. So my granddaughter Abby was only 2 roughly when mum made her transition, but she still talks about mum all the time. And she was dancing, and when my girls were little, mum would get the girls and she'd stand them on her feet and she'd dance around the kitchen with them. And Abby was doing this dance one day, and I said, wow, Abby, what a great dancer you are. Who taught you to dance like that? And she said, Grammy.
Aw.
And it was like a
I didn't remember
flashback
that.
to
Yeah.
her mother on mum's, and she brings her up often in these ways. So I'm wondering whether you guys have experiences like this where maybe they've been gone a long time and yet your child or grandchild or someone else seems quite connected to them. And I bought some blue earrings, and I said to Abby, guess whose favorite color blue? And she said Grammy's.
Aw.
So she's got all these connections that didn't come from her earthly connection with mum.
Mm.
So this extended relationship becomes very obvious if you're open to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've read stories from people that have said that their children have, you know, like they have their own conversations with somebody in a room, right? And you know, they just make so they're obviously talking to somebody, whether they can see them, you know, because I don't know. But
Yeah, well, my grandchildren, because my daughter was only 4 when her sister made her transition, but they will occasionally start talking about my daughter that passed. You know, they'll talk about Auntie Danielle, and of course they weren't here. Their mother was only 4, so it's really interesting that they will do things like that.
It shows that deep connection, that soul connection we have, doesn't it? You know, we can see ourselves, and we are individuals, we understand that in terms of our human expression, for the purposes of living and experiencing and growing here in this life experience. Yet the soul connections are so strong and so powerful, and this becomes more apparent to me the older I get and the more I experience life. There's never ever a time when we are not connected to everyone, and that includes those who have already gone before us.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. We're all one. That's
Yeah.
how I feel. I just, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Neil Donald Walsh's books, but Conversation with God books, they enriched my life for sure. And he talks about how God sent him messages and he wrote those books, and the fact that we are all one. And it would not be just a beautiful world if we would all treat each other like we were one, right? Yeah. It'd be a very, very loving planet.
And that's where I truly believe, regardless of outside appearances, I truly believe this is what we are creating right now. And when things come up that provide all this contrast, and fear comes up, which is a very natural thing. It's a natural part of being alive, but it's also a doorway, a gateway, an opportunity every single time, isn't it? To, okay, how do I step out of fear for me personally? And how do I embrace truth and trust and love more fully in my everyday life? And these are big questions, and different people are going to experience that in very different ways. And yet here we all are, each of us, the three of us.
Yeah.
We've all been sharing ways today, and all these gorgeous people in the comments about how they themselves have found a way to transform their fear and loneliness, the missing, which for me hasn't gone away. I don't know whether it ever will.
No.
But it's not devastating anymore. And I'll have moments like I did when the show first started, because, you know, we tried, this is the third attempt for this show to come forward, everyone, right? Every time something came up. And here it is. Today is my dad's birthday.
Yeah.
And the show goes ahead. So to me, Dad is so close.
Yeah. He's right here with us.
Nothing happens by accident.
No.
And there is a beautiful rhythm and flow and meaning and this expansiveness that exists all the time. And when I'm in my heart space and coming from there, living there, it's so easy to feel it, see it, know it, and live in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I have to say, Shannon, they told me I have to share this with you, because I'm sitting here looking at you and you're in this beautiful calm space, but it's because that you've got the angel's wings and your mum's arms are all wrapped around you, and you're in this beautiful cocoon of love and protection. And you know, I can just, gone all goosey now, and I can just sort of feel all of this beautiful energy. They're just filling you with this energy, and they're encouraging you to keep doing with what you are doing now, because it's so important for everybody. And you know, I've been watching you for about the last 20 minutes or so, and I'm saying, no, I can't interrupt. No, you need to say it. So,
Aw, how sweet. Oh, that touched my heart. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love it. And talking about that soul connection, Tibeth says, Anayah, because I've known Tibeth a long time, and Orion is her grandson. And if you remember when it took the two of us to change a nappy or diaper, as you guys would know it, and that moment, a soul connection with Orion when he was a baby. How's that? That is just beautiful. Oh, Erin's with us, Erin Gordon. It's always such a treat to have you with us, Erin. Dell says, happy birthday to my dad. Thank you so much, Dell. See this coming together that we're doing in so many ways, and that fantastic story Beth just shared, how the simplest, most mundane of tasks, we are creating these connections and strengthening them, aren't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was, you said 34 years, did you say? It was 34 years today? How many years has it been
he's
since
only three. Oh, it's his third birthday.
Yeah.
It's his third heavenly birthday.
Third birthday. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
that's very fresh. That's so fresh. I'm sorry I didn't.
Really fresh. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Really fresh. And I thought I'm going to be absolutely fine. And then, of course, I got on air.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's going to be 5 years for my mom next year, like next March. So I know how fresh it is. My gosh, that's so fresh.
So fresh, yeah.
Yeah. What a special day to do this. What a special day to do this.
It is a special day. It's such a special day. And, you know, birthdays were always such a big deal in my family. And Dad was hilarious because He had this quirky sense of humor. So for your birthday, he'd always ring you up and say, Merry Christmas or Happy Easter, right? That was Dad's thing. So I'm just waiting now today. There'll be an Easter or a Christmas thing that'll pop up in a certain way that I'll know. Dad, so Merry Christmas, Dad.
Oh,
Happy Easter as well.
Yes. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Easter, Happy Holiday.
exactly right. Happy
Beautiful.
everything.
Yeah.
But,
Mm-hmm. And Erin's agreeing, and so is Tibeth. What a beautiful message for Shannon, Carol Anne. You ladies are amazing. And also, that you should have such a lovely energy, Shannon. That's also coming through. And Tibeth's remembering my dad was a lovely man. He was and is a lovely man.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
Right. Well, it's been such a pleasure today, Shannon, to finally get to air. It's just been delightful, and it's been wonderful. You've been able to share your story and your book, and we're looking forward to your next book. And let's hope it doesn't take us 3 goes to get you on air.
That 3 again, right, in my life, right? So 3 times, 3 times. Reason for everything, right?
Very.
Reason for everything.
And 3 is a beautiful number. So Love's Message in a Dime, lovesmessageinaDime.com.
Yeah.
Really encourage you to go and have a look at this book and experience the peace that you'll find within its pages in so many different ways, Shannon. There's so many great stories.
You know what I found is that there are a lot of people that purchase one for themselves and then they think of others that they can give them to.
Yeah.
And that's what I've found is that people come back and say, can I have another book? I know somebody that I'd like to give this book to. And that's what it just warms my heart. And then I know that, you know, as one book just gets passed around. And yeah, it's just, yeah.
Yes.
I'm just grateful for you guys and for helping me send this message out to the world. Yeah. And I look forward to sharing my next book with you.
Wonderful.
Next year.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel very blessed today. Very blessed to have been able to share this time with you, Shannon, and offer comfort and peace and support. And the reminder that our loved ones are always connected to us as we are connected to them. You know, and it's one of those things, isn't it? Because as human beings, we often look with our eyes, hear with our ears, right? Touch things, right? Okay, that's real, that's not real.
mm-hmm.
Once we begin to let go of that and realize, well, actually, the dimes are real. We know that.
That's just it. That's
right?
the only thing.
Yeah, but once we begin to be
Tangible.
willing to take that journey, it's amazing what opens up. So thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Feel blessed to be here.
Thank you, everybody, for being with us today. We've loved having you here, and lots of love to you all. And Anayah, I'll let you do the sign off today.
Our special signing off. It started off as a joke, and we do it every week now,
Okay.
Shannon. So 2 things, everyone. You'll come back now. You hear?
You hear?
And the second thing is to please remember to be very kind to you. And remember, you matter in the world. Even if you don't believe that, it's true. You're here with purpose, on purpose. And the fact that you are here means that you are making a difference in the world. Thank you to everyone who has joined us and all your beautiful comments in the comments section on the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page. That's a great place to watch our live streams. This will be available as a podcast as well. angelheartradio.com will take you straight to our new podcast station. And just take care of you. Give yourself a break. Love you. Be good to you. And we really look forward to seeing you again next week when we have 2 guests, one of whom is our gorgeous chat room well, it's not really a chat room, to Beth Shakura Hamon, who's been in the comments section. To Beth is joining us next week along with Amelia White. Thanks, Carol Anne.
Thank you, Anayah. It's been delightful. Thank you, Shannon. And I know we'll talk again soon.
Great.
Bye,
Good
everyone.
night.
Bye, everyone.